You hear some noise, guys. Construction. I can't do anything about it, but I gotta get these videos rolling. Look, I only make two videos like this a year, but if a certain player pulls off something particularly special in this series, you're gonna see a third, me reacting to it. So let me set the scene. 2018 NBA Finals, Golden State Warriors versus Cleveland Cavaliers. The number 2 seed from the West versus the number 4 seed from the East, Part 4. For the 4th time in a row this year, for the 4th time in a row overall, we are gonna get Golden State against LeBron's Cavs. And on paper, this is the most straightforward NBA Finals possibly of the last decade. This should not go anywhere near beyond 5 games, if not an outright sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers by the Golden State Warriors. You look at what LeBron has done with this Cavs team, you're going to see a lot of really eyebrow-raising parallels between him and Lionel Messi's relationship with Argentina. He drags this team into the playoffs, the number 4 seed out of 8 seeds in the East. The first number 4 seed to get to the NBA Finals in at least 7 or 8 years. First round, you're coming up against a young Victor Oladipo and a Pacers team. They push you to the brink. They push you to the full 7 games. Second round, you sweep the number 1 seed Toronto Raptors, a team that is psychologically weak for some reason. When they come up against LeBron and these Cavs, they fold. Get to the final, the Eastern Conference, against a Kyrie-less, Gordon Hayward-less Boston Celtics, who you don't have home advantage over. You have to play 4 games away at the TD Garden with the team that's managed by one of the best coaches in the NBA in Brad Stevens. And you overcome a 3-2 deficit to win the last 2 games in the series, including Game 7 at the TD Garden away, where you come in clutch at the end and send your team to the NBA Finals. This alone is an incredible achievement because in the preseason, the Cavs were a bottom 3 defensive record team, one of the 3 worst defenses in the NBA. It's also been a season where, unfortunately, Kevin Love has been more of a liability than he has been an asset. And on top of that, you're crowning it off against one of the greatest NBA teams ever assembled in the Golden State Warriors, the reigning NBA champions. Now, I expect LeBron to not just play out of his skin. I expect him to play out of his skin, jump back into his skin, and then jump back out of it again. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the Cavs' lack of a defense. I just told you the defensive record. I told you Kevin Love. He's coming off, in my opinion, the worst postseason of his career. And you're coming up against a Dubs team that just man per man outmatches you. This should not go beyond 5 games. And really, the only way that I can see Cleveland pulling off the unthinkable would be several ways. Number 1, the second most important player for Cleveland, I think, it's not going to be Kevin Love. It's going to be Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver has to bank at least 30% from downtown. That's number 1. Number 2, Andre Iguodala cannot come back because a guy of his stature, pound for pound, he can match up with LeBron James defensively. That's number 2. Number 3, you have to limit Klay Thompson's attempts in the paint rigorously. You don't give him too much space on the sides because he will score those threes. Number 4 really is a little bit of wishful thinking, but you kind of have to hope that Kevin Durant shows a little bit of that on and off again inconsistency that he showed in the series against the Houston Rockets, where in Game 4 and Game 5, Golden State relented those games because Kevin Durant wasn't as efficient outside of the perimeter. And number 6, luck, because you're going to need tons of it to beat this Golden State side. This is not something that needs to be analyzed too much because, like I said, this is the most decisively apparent series in how it should unfold of any NBA Finals in recent memory. And if LeBron James were to pull this off, I think he cements his place as the greatest of all time basketball player. But the thing is, how is this Cavs team going to do it 4 times? I don't expect anything less than greatness from LeBron. I don't trust this Cavs team, especially defensively. So this should not go beyond 5 games. And I say 5 games because I have too much respect for LeBron to say that it's going to be a sweep. Here's the thing about Golden State, though. 2 things about Golden State that I have observed. Number 1, I do not think they are as good as last year. This is not the same Golden State team that swept everybody en route to the NBA Finals and went 16-1 in the postseason. They dropped a game against San Antonio, might have dropped 2, if not for the whole Popovich thing. Dropped 1 against New Orleans Pelicans, should have dropped 2 against the New Orleans Pelicans because I thought game 2 at home in Golden State, the Oracle, New Orleans really shot themselves in the foot. They gave up a 10-15 point lead late on in the 3rd quarter of that match. And then you come up against the Houston Rockets. And if I'm being honest, this is directed towards you, Mr. James Harden. Without all those turnovers in Game 7, I don't think Golden State gets to this final. I think we see Houston Rockets go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And ironically enough, that gives the Cavs a bigger chance than against Golden State. See, Golden State had to come from behind, overturn a 3-2 deficit to get to the NBA Finals. I think you take all those mistakes away from the Rockets in Game 7, especially from James Harden, Golden State, defending champions, they don't get to the final. So that gives me a little bit of pause. Another thing gives me pause about this Golden State team, and this is tied into the fact that I don't think they're as good as they were last year. Here's the thing, and the most important thing. I look at this Golden State side. They don't give me the vibe of a 96-98 Chicago Bulls. They don't give me a 2000 to 2002 LA Lakers. This Golden State team reminds me of the San Antonio Spurs between 2003 and 2007. The every other year San Antonio Spurs. They won in 1999, 4 years later, 2003, 2005, 2007. Great era. Tim Duncan and the like under Greg Popovich, they just couldn't repeat. They couldn't do it. They were an every other year kind of team. That's the vibe I'm getting from this Golden State team. I don't think they're up there in greatness quite yet with that Bulls team, with that Lakers team. I don't get the sense that they are a team that will be remembered as having gone back-to-back or three-peating. And I think that's going to actually hinder them many years from now when there is a discussion over the greatest NBA team ever put together. People are going to point to the Golden State Warriors and say, you know what? They were a great side. They couldn't three-peat. And people are going to go back. They're going to point to the 2016 NBA Finals when LeBron overturned a 3-1 deficit, when they came one game away from three-peating in 2015, 2016, and 2017. And arguably, if not for LeBron's heroics in 2016, we could be having a conversation about Golden State's four-peating this year. That's always going to be something that goes against this Golden State team. People are going to say they couldn't do it consistently. They couldn't do it every year. They couldn't go back-to-back. That's what I think is ultimately going to be the fate of this Warriors team. They just don't give me, I think, I look at them, they don't give me the vibe of a team that's going to be considered at the top, above those Bulls and above those Lakers. They look like the mid 2000s San Antonio Spurs. To me. Just to me. I could be wrong. So what's going to happen in this series? It defies all logic. I don't know why. I believe in LeBron, but I just do. I'm going with the Cavs in 7. Against the curve here. Not to get views or anything. It's just a feeling. This is a side who should maybe get swept, take it to 5 at most. But I just think, even if they trail most of their games and then just come in clutch at the end, if the defense can finally hold up, if Kyle Korver can step it up and bank more from downtown, LeBron's going to do his thing. LeBron, I don't have to talk about LeBron. He's going to do what he has to do. It's the rest of the team. I'm sensing they rise to the occasion. I think they're going to trail for most of this series. Probably get blown out at 1 or 2 games at the Oracle Arena. Golden State will take game 1. I think Cavs will steal game 2. Then I think they're going to win either game 3 or 4. Golden State wins back the home court advantage. And then from game 5 onwards, when it becomes a best 2 out of 3, all it takes is for the Cavs to win one of them to most likely force a game 7. And in a game 7, am I going to bet against LeBron James in a game 7? Probably not. I think they're going to do it. I don't know why I think it's batshit crazy. I think LeBron's going to do it. I think the Cavs are going to take the series in 7 games. And if they get swept, then, well, there you go.